Hello, and welcome to Trisha's Cards and Crafts. I'm Trisha, and today I'm going to be using this stamp set here. Right, I'll just check to see that this is working properly. It's not come up yet, there's a little bit of a lag. I think there we go. And just, there we go. Right, so this is the stamp set. I thought I'd start off with something a little bit more simple, hopefully, this time for this first one. And I'm just using this very plain stamp set, but I am using some dies which are from the Branching Out bundle to cut out the frames for this one. I'm also going to use this embossing folder, which is the Peaceful Greenery 3D embossing folder, which is part of the Peaceful Garden suite. So that's another one for another card. And then I'm going to use some DSP from the Traditions of Christmas 12x12 Speciality Designer Series paper for a third one if I've got time, but we'll see if we get that far yet. But this is the card that I'm going to make first, so we'll get on with this one. I've got all the pieces already cut to size, but not cut out yet. So I've got this is a thick basic white card base, which I've used for that, and I've cut a piece of, now this is speciality paper as well, and this is again from the Peaceful Garden suite, and it's called a Peaceful Garden Glimmer Paper, 12x12 Glimmer Paper. It comes in blue, dark grey and soft green. Well, the one I've used, these are the colours. Whoops, there's 2 sheets of each. Well, I don't know, doesn't want to come out very easily. Right, here we go. So those are the 3 colours. To me that looks more silvery, but it could be the light in my room, but hopefully it's not. So that's the one. This is the one I'm going to use, but I could have used this one because this one's quite very blue, and I think that would be a good one with Blueberry Bushel. I think that would look really good with that, but I thought I'd use Secret Sea with the one that I'm doing today. Or I could have used the silver, the pale green one, but I think, what does it say? It calls it soft green, but it does look a bit green on the camera, but in real life it sort of looks a bit less. So I think this one goes better with the Secret Sea, so that's what I've used for this one. So I've used, now this is where it comes in. I've got the largest of the Branching Out dies for the outside, and then I'm making sure if this is straight, because I'll explain why in a moment. I want to make sure this is centered and straight as possible. There we go. And then I'm going to put this one inside. This is the 3rd one down, or 3rd or 4th. Here we go. This is the 4th one down, 4th die down from the largest, because I only want to see really the outside of it. So I thought if I cut this out, I can use this on another card for something else, this central bit. And I'm also cutting this sort of centered on here, so then I can use this as a frame as well. I've got some I cut out earlier, and I put it to the side so you can see what I mean. This is what it'll look like. So I've got this one and this one, and they'll go inside each other like that. So you could make a little frame that you can put something inside there then. So that's what I'm going to do again with this. And I've also got the small piece that comes out in the middle as well, which again can be used for something else. So matting and layering. So this one again is using the next one down from this. Yeah, it is. Or have I? Let's just check. I think, yes. So this is the next one down, which is going to go on here. And again, I'm going to try to center this on here and get it as straight as possible. There we go. I need another piece. That will do. There we go. So I'm going to cut those two out. Put this out of the way. And I need my large cut and emboss machine. And I need, whoops, I've got the embossing one, which I don't need for now. So we've got the base plate and plate number, this is plate number 2. So I've got 1 and 2 and then 2 number 3s. So we'll start off with the glimmer paper first. Put that through. I did push it back through on the first one. I might just do that again just in case, although I don't think I need to do that. Hello everybody. Hello Anna. I don't know who else is there, but hello. And then this one through. And there we go. And put this out of the way. Here we go. Right, so we've got card base. This is what happens. I can take the tape off now. I use a slightly stronger washi tape. This is one of the, a bit of oh, I can't remember, it doesn't matter, the floral one that we've got, and I just used some of the offcuts from that to use, and it's because it's quite a bit stronger than my normal tape that I use. So that's the center panel that I don't need at the moment. This is the frame that I do need, and that's the outside part that again I will use in another video another day. So put those out of the way. This one now, again, I've got the inner part, or the outside part of it, which I can use to make a frame with. Again, there's the other part there. So we're all ready to carry on. Hopefully there's just bits come off with the glimmer paper. There we go. Right, so this is going to fit on top of there like that. Now I could put it up on dimensionals. Now I didn't put this one up, this one's down flat, because I'll show you what I've done. I don't know whether you can see, but this is embossed, and I'll show you how to do it. So you can use any colour ink and emboss with it. If you just use the ink on its own, it's not that likely that it will stay wet enough to be able to hold the embossing powder. Oh, sorry. But if you use the Versamark pad first and then put it into the ink afterwards and then ink it, you can use it, stays wet in it long enough to put the embossing powder on. If you haven't got embossing powder or a heat gun, you can do it just with the ink. It's not going to make that much difference. It's just that it's slightly raised and it's a bit shiny. So that's the only reason I did it, but you can do it plain. If you did it, if you heat emboss it, it does get slightly warped, the paper. So that's why I've put it flat. I will do one, I think this time, without embossing it, so that you'll be able to see the difference. Okay, and then I'll mount this one with dimensionals. Okay, and then the reason I've put this on, although it looks very pretty, I've somehow managed to get, I don't know how, as I haven't used any, but orange, there's a little bit, you can just about see down inside, some orange ink got on my finger, and I managed to smudge it onto the card. So I'm going to be very careful this time and try my best not to do that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do next, is stamp. I'm not going to stick that down yet. So here's my stamp and my ink pad. This is Secret C I'm using. I will clean it off first because there might be some Versamark left on there. And we want it to dry as quickly as possible once it's been stamped. There we go, so that's clean. And right, here we go. So I'm going to take this to the ink pad because it's a different, because it's a soft foam. I could go, I've managed to do it again, and I can't turn it over because you won't see the, oh well, we'll see if we can hide it. Put this up slightly more than it was before. We'll hope that the R covers the smudge up. Hope that's straight. It doesn't look that straight. Here we go. So just make sure that that takes nicely. Straight. Whoops. Not straight. There we go. That's not too bad. It's not too great either. But maybe if we put some ribbon and things on it again, which I wasn't going to do this time, but I will, just in case. And I've put that up slightly further than I did with that one, and we'll put the ribbon underneath and we'll get the bow and everything on there. Put some decoration on there as well. Just clean this off a minute. There we go. Right, so we're going to stick this down now. So we'll put this down first, and I'll use some Tombow. With the glimmer paper, it's only on the front, obviously. It'd be a bit of a waste having it on both sides. If you're sticking something on top of the glimmer paper, then you've got to use something quite strong to make sure it sticks. I used the Tombow because it's one of the strongest adhesives that I've got anyway. I think you'd probably be all right with the Stamp and Seal Plus, but I didn't want to take that chance, so I'm centering this as much as I can there, like that, and then I'm going to get some dimensionals and put those on the back. I think I'll probably put about 6 because I'm going to put some, maybe I'll put 7, 8, put 2 in the middle as well, just to make sure it doesn't go flat if it was going through the post. 2. Now these are going to be sticking onto the card base because I've cut that central bit out of the card because I don't want to waste any. You don't want to waste any of your glimmer paper if you can help it. So this is going to go on here. Just try and get an equal border all the way around. There we go. It is a bit squiffy, I'm afraid, but it was difficult because I was trying to to hide that. So I've got, this is the, what's it called, silver edged ribbon, and this again comes with the Peaceful Garden suite of products, but I think it goes nicely with this. Whoops, I will make a card with the suite as well, but for now, for today, I'm just using this one. I know they're not exactly straightforward cards. What's happened to this ribbon? I can't, that's not it. We'll go through, that's it. Go through. So I want to pull this down a little bit. Whoops, not, that's too much. There, that's a bit better. And then pull it a bit tighter. That should be okay. And we want to cut that at an angle. And I'll trim this one off as well. Whoops. That's about there. That's okay. And what I did for the other one, I have had some, I used some of the glimmer paper that was left over, but I think I've used it all up, so I'll just cut a small strip of this. Ooh, it's stuck into me. I just want about an inch, maybe half an inch of this. That should be enough. There we go. And I've got a small strip of silver that I used as well, the silver foil card. And I'm using the foliage punch, but I'm not sure, any foliage you could use, any dies that you've got or any foliage you've got as well. This is just the one that I've got and I used. So I'm going to put one, I'm going to cut out that way round, and then I'm going to, whoops, it's not come out. It's stuck in there. Right. Here we go. Just try and get that out. I won't be able to get anything else in if I don't get this out. Oh. I can still see it in there. Oh, clever gloves. There we go, got it out. So one that way round, and then I'm going to turn this the other way round on the white side, if I can be careful this time. And I'm going to cut another piece on the back of that, so then they both will face in different directions. So now I'm going to use the silver that I've got, because I think silver goes better with blue than gold, but I could, and I've got silver on the edge of the ribbon. So we're going to do one sprig, if I can, yeah, just get it up on that side, and then I'm going to turn it over and do one on the other side. There we go. So that's how I used that. So what I did, oh, a little flower head. So I did cut these off because I don't want too much bulk. So I'm just cutting the ends of these. I could have just cut it shorter, but there we go. Going to turn these around, and I used some mini glue dots. I did use mini glue dots to stick these down with. What have I done with them? That's odd. I put them. Whoops. Everything's going to fall. I shouldn't have moved it. Where's the mini glue dots gone? Right, never mind. I could got more. That's odd. They were here. Oh, there they are. Underneath the tombow. Dear me. Can't see for looking. Right. Don't need a lot. You just need one for each of these. So I'm just going to put one. Whoops. Didn't mean to put that there, but it'll be okay. So we want this to come about here. Doesn't matter that it's going to go over the S. That'll be fine. And one over this side. Then a little bit. Another one on here. Oops, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Might have to use another one. Yes, I will, because it's come off. Oh, there we go. Take that off. Try again. Oh. There we go. Right, so I've got this one, and we want that to come about there, and this one to go in the opposite direction over here, and then we've got our bow, which will go in the middle, and now you won't be able to see. I have to see if I can move these a bit, just a little bit. Oops. This is doing the same thing that the other one did. Doesn't want to come off. Right, let's just see if I can sort this out and just move it up a little bit. There we go. That's better, I think. Yes, you can just about see it now. And we'll use a few glue dots on the back of the ribbon and back of the bow. Whoops. 2 and 3. I want to make sure that doesn't move. I've used less in the past and they've sort of not stuck as well as I would have liked. So there's, you still can't see it very well, but I know they're there. So there's my bow on there, and then for this one I used these Charming Shimmer faceted dots, but I thought I might as well use everything from that suite. So these are the Hues of Blue flowers, and they come with the Peaceful Garden suite. So we'll just take a couple of these out of here. I'm going to use the darker ones anyway, so just use my Take a Pick tool. I'll put one of these there, and 2, we can put one there and one there. Okie dokie. I've just changed it round slightly. We could put, no, I'm going to leave it like that, otherwise I'm going to go mad with them. Right, so there's our first card done. Not too badly. There we go. So it's not that difficult to do. So that one's if you're just stamping it flat, but I've raised it up on dimensionals, and this one is embossed and then heat embossed, but I've had to stick that flat, so there's a little bit more dimension to that, but it's not as shiny. So, okay, so that's the difference. To do the embossing, what you would do is you'd have your stamp, whoops, and you put the Versamark on first, and then you stamp it with the colour, whichever colour you want to use. I'll do this with another one if I've got time, and I'll show you what I meant by that. So the next card, and I've also got this prepared. This is another. What I did with this, I cut the paper lengthways instead of widthways to make the card, so they open up that way instead of that way, because I wanted them lengthways. And what I've got now, I've got some gold foil sheet, and this one is cut to about 4 and probably 5/8, I think, something like that. And this piece is cut to 1 inch. I scored the whole length, and I scored it at 1 1/8, I think it is. So there's, yes, about 1 1/8, so there's not a lot of room there, and then that will go on top of there. This one is going to go on top, so this is cut about so it's less, it's not as, I could have made it narrower, but I didn't. I've just made it 1/8 of an inch narrower than that, because I want to do something with it before I do anything else. So I can put these on, these are fine. So we'll stick these on first. Yeah, and what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to stick this piece down, so it's going to be a book opening card. So I'll show you in a moment. Just put some Tombow on here. That's okay. And then some on here. I think I'm coming to the end of this one. I think I'll have enough for today. If not, I've got another one on hand. So there we go. Put this one down. Again, trying to keep an equal border all the way around. Don't mind so much if there's less of a border here, because of the hinge that's going to be there, like that. So I scored it at 1 inch, and I think it's, yeah, it's about 1/8 of an inch. Oh. And I've got glue on there, which is not good. Right, and we want to stick this bit down as well. Forgot about that one. So I'm not going to put glue there, I'm going to put glue on here, although I will put some down the centre. Whoops. There we go. I'm not going to go right to the edge, because it will probably move slightly as well. So this will hold down, and that, only that piece will come back. Okay. And I know I haven't done the insides of these cards, but I will. I just wanted more to show the outside of the card rather than the inside. For this part, I'm going to use the embossing folder. I'll have to put it through more than once, because I want to use this to emboss this strip, and then I will put this through again and I will emboss this piece separately because I want that piece to be done as well. Okay, so I'm going to put this one in. I'm going to have to be careful with this because I don't want it to move and I need it to be as straight as possible. So that'll be like that. So hopefully you can see. I think I need to move it slightly because I'm following the line of that frame. To try and keep, yeah, that's okay. So now I need I think this is a thick one, so I'll try it and see. If not, because if it's a 3D embossing folder, you just use this and this plate. If it's not, if it's a normal embossing folder, a thinner one, then you use the two other plates, the two number 3s. So we'll try it and see how we get on with it. Put that out of the way a moment. I'm not sure whether it is a 3D embossing folder, so that's okay. Right, so you always, when you're doing embossing, we're using embossing folders, you want to make sure that the hinge part of it goes through first. Hopefully this is still straight. Here we go. There we go. Don't know how. We'll see. Yes, it's okay. That's embossed quite well and it's quite straight. So that's one part. And then the other piece, going to line this up as centrally as possible. Let me just check. That one needs to go that way slightly. A little bit further over. I think. No, it's too far down. Tip a bit. I've gone too far the other way. Anyway, I think that'll do. We'll put that through this way round, put that on top, and push it through. There we go. Oh. Hello, Jane. Nice for you to join in. Whoops. Right, here we go. So I'll put this away now. We'll see how it turned out. So there we go. So we've got a bit of a frame going on. So that will go on top of there. And hopefully you won't see too much of the glue. Thank you, Anna, for telling me where the glue dots were. Even though I didn't look at I should have looked at your comments and then I would have known. So this piece will go here and then this piece will go along here. Or actually, I think it might be better if it goes that way round. There we go. So that there's more on this side than that side. That's fine. So we'll stick these down because I'm going to do something else now. Right, let's stick this down. Again. I'm definitely running out. And when you use an embossing folder, you want to make sure that you put plenty of Tombow on because there's lots of raised and flatter areas. Whoops. So there we go. And this one will go on here. go here. There we go. So we've got some texture here with this one. Now for the I've got some spare card here, and I'm going to use some gold embossing to stamp the sentiment here. So put plenty of embossing powder on, embossing Versamark on, not the embossing powder. And before I do that, I'm going to use this pad just to wipe over, to take any oils that have been on my fingers or any stickiness off, and any static. There's some sort of either corn flour or something similar to that inside, which helps to take any stickiness away, residue away from fingers or whatever. Right way around, it doesn't matter really. And it doesn't matter where I'm going to put this, because I'm actually going to cut this out. Ooh, it moved. So I want this to have a good image. There we go. A little bit bluer than I wanted it to be, but it doesn't matter because I'm not using clear this time. I'm using some gold embossing powder, and I've got a piece of paper I'm going to put underneath to catch the embossing powder. Here we go. And when you use Versamark, it does stay tacky quite a while, so you don't have to rush to do this, but the sooner you do it, the better. There we go. I'll try and pull what I can back in there first. There we go. That's quite a good image. So I think that one might just go over the sea again. That's better. Right, that one's okay. So put the rest of it back in the pot. Stampin' Up does sell gold embossing powder, but I did have some in my stash. I've had this for a long time. Don't use it that often, but I just thought it would look good tonight. So I'm going to heat emboss this now. So excuse the noise. Hopefully it won't be too noisy. Just get this heated up first, and then we'll use it on here. Come on, you can do this. I tried to put it on a lower speed heat setting because I thought it would make less noise, but it's taking longer to do it, so maybe I shouldn't have. It's coming now. Here we go. First time I saw this, I thought it was fantastic. It's like magic. Love heat embossing. Probably should do it more often. You can do this from underneath as well. You don't always have to do it from the top, and that's not too bad. So you can also, if you do it from underneath, it can help to stop it from warping too much as well. There we go, that'll do. Whoops, and then I did it as loud. There we go. Right, so that's my embossed image. Now I'm going to use my scissors. I should have some here. There we go. And I'm going to cut this out. So I'm going to leave an edge around the outside, hopefully as even as possible. I love the the typeface, or I need to concentrate and not talk. There we go. Here we go. There isn't a die for this one. I think it would have been nice to have a die, but there isn't one. So if you want to cut it out, you have to fussy cut it, which is why I just stamped it onto a frame first. There we go. I think that's just about, there we go. So that'll do. That's fine. And I don't often do white on white cards, but I thought that would look nice, so I'm going to raise this up with some dimensionals. Probably won't use as many for this one. And to the top. There we go. Again, I could have probably, if I wanted to, stuck this flat onto some gold card, foil card again, and then cut around that and then raised it, but I think it looks quite nice like this. So this only just fits inside there, and I need to bring that slightly down because I want it to be within the frame. There we go. So that is that, and I've got some of this, what's this one called? Nope. Mesh ribbon. Okay, if you say so. And I need to find the end. Oh well, never mind. And I thought just to tie a nice little bow with this. I haven't got to cover anything up this time, so I can make it small. There we go. But because this has got like a gold trim on it, I thought it would look nice with the gold. And cut that one, and cut that there. There we go. Out of the way. I'll put this, maybe we'll put that on the edge. I think it will look nice there. We'll put it there. And actually use some glue dots again. This time I put a little bit on each side of the bow, and then that won't move. There we go. So if I can get it off my finger, I'll put that around about there. Stick that down. There we go. And I probably got something. Find some gold. Aha! I wonder what these are. Blooming pearls. I think these will do because they're gold. I've got some gold in here. So we'll have one larger one. Put that over here. And then two of these smaller ones. One there. And one there. There we go. And that's our second card. So it's quite a versatile stamp, so you don't always have to do the same thing. Again, what I would do, I will put a sentiment on the inside as well. If you wanted to, you could put a piece of foil card and then a piece of white on top to put your when you put your sentiment inside, because you're not going to be using up a lot of it. Now for the third card, I've got a piece of basic white again, thick basic white for the base, and I've chosen a piece of, I've wondered what that was. It's the back of it. This is a piece of DSP from the Traditions of Christmas. Yes, Traditions of Christmas 12 by 12. There's lots of papers that you can use, so there's lots of nice papers in here, but I've just chosen the one with all the poinsettias and things on. There's another one there as well. There's the one that I've chosen to use for this, and I've cut this down. I need to cut a little bit more off this one so that it's the same all the way round. And I don't know what I've done with my mini guillotine. I'll put it somewhere. Put it safe somewhere, but I've lost it. I'll put it somewhere, but I don't know where I've put it. But never mind, I will cut it with my trimmer. I'll just cut up another 1/8 of an inch. That should be enough, I think. Oh, if not, I'll cut a bit more. So yes, that's about right. And then I'm going to use another piece that I've got here. Got a few pieces. I'm going to cut this one down using these dies again, but I'm going to use, make sure that it will fit. No, it won't. So it's got to be maybe this next one. Wonder if this one will fit it inside. Just, yes. I'm going to use this so that I can see a bit more of the DSP, because it's a shame to cover it all up. So this is the third one down, third size from the largest die, and I'm going to cut this out of here, and then I will stamp afterwards. There we go. So I'm not going to cut this one out because I think it's nice to see as much of this as possible. I could again put another piece of gold foil behind it, but I think it looks nice just like it is. So let's get this out of the way again. And cut this piece out. Whoops, I have to do it again. There we go. Come off there. That's okay. So I need all of these and take the grey one out because I've got the grey one here as well. There we go. So we've got our 1, 2s and 3s again. I think I might need to change my top plate soon. I saw someone had a very good idea with their top plate, was that they use the one until it gets marked, and then they just change one of them over, and then they've got a nice clean plate to use. And you don't get all, sometimes it can leave marks on your paper, which you don't want because it spoils everything then. This one's not doing that yet anyway. But there we go. There we go. So we need to take the tape off. Here we go. And this one. There. Got that. Got some scrap pen as well. Now I'll show you what I meant about the embossing now. So I've cleaned, this one did have Versamark on it, so it's not going to be too hard to do. So I'm not going to clean it off first because I'm putting more Versamark on. So I put Versamark on there first, and then to colour it I'm going to use this is Real Red, and just going to put some of this on here. There we go. And then I'm going to put it so that I can see as much as possible. Right, I think that's about centered. Go down. And this time I'm going to use some of my clear embossing powder. There we go. And my piece of paper again. Here it is, the clear one. And just try and pour as much of that back in there as possible. And I didn't do it again. So I didn't use my stamping embossing buddy on here. I'll just have to get some of that off a second. So I need a little brush. This will do. And I'm just going to try and take a little bit. It's just stuck around the C. There. There we go, that's better. Because even though I'm going to put a bit more on actually. So, because that doesn't look as though it covered that very well. That's okay, I think. There we go. So now it looks a little bit misty. But once we've heat embossed this now, there we go. Cover that up. There we go. And I'm going to use, I got a little wooden board that I use, and I got a little, this doesn't come with it, this was separate, just take it on and off, a little bulldog clip to keep that in place while I heat emboss. And I'm going to turn it up loud, so excuse the noise. There we go. I will just take this off a second. Oops. Just try and kill this back the other way. There we go. Right, I'll turn this off. There we go. And put that out the way. So there's not much of the, this didn't take very well, so I probably needed a bit more Versamark on this. It is there slightly, but there's a little. But the rest of it is nice and shiny. If you can see, I don't know whether you can, but there's some little, you can just about see where the embossing powder was on the, luckily it's clear, so it looks a little bit like raindrops, but that shouldn't necessarily have happened. So here we go, let's make this one up. And again, I'm going to just stick this one down. I'll use this in Tombow now, because I've got some already started. This one's definitely fuller than the other one. There we go. And I don't think this is directional paper, but if you did have one with directions on, like a pattern on that was directional, then just be careful which way up you put it. But that one I think looks fine like that. And I'm just going to put this on, and I will put these on with dimensionals, even though it has warped. but I think it'll look nicer with some dimensionals. And there, here we go. Turn this over, and yeah, I'll do that. We'll put some on here. Again, I'm going to put a lot on, which I don't normally do, but I will for this because it is slightly warped because of the heat. I'll put a few more on than I would normally do to hopefully keep this down flatter. And take the backs off. There we go. So that's all the backs off, and we'll put this down centrally on here. There we go. And we'll use, I've got some of this, it's called shiny ribbon. It's 1/2 inch wide, and this, I can't remember where this one comes from, which set, but it does come with something or other. But I'm just going to make a bow with this. I was thinking I could have put it underneath, but I think I'll just use it as a bow again. It's a bit wider, and it is sort of shiny, but it's not shiny as it's still quite rough, but there's not on that side. So we need to make sure that we tie the bow. This is why I'm using it, this method, so that you know you've got the shiny side up, and it doesn't, if you tried it sort of like you would a normal bow like that and pulled it through, you would have some of the non-shiny side showing, whereas if you do it like this, you should get the shiny side up all the time. So that's, whoops, here we go. Tie this, whoops, here we are. So just make sure when you're doing this that you make sure you've got it. Now I've still got this bit here isn't shiny, but that's the best I can do, I think. So it's a bit slippery too, because I don't want to be too slippery. Right, pull that nice and tight. There, that looks okay. And then we'll trim this one there, and this one. Oops, it's not quite so angled. There we go. So again, we can put this one up here. That's the shiny side. So yeah, I think that'll be all right. So again, you could probably split this if you didn't want it to be this as wide as that. You could cut it down the middle and use it narrower, or make it narrower. Right, let's put some glue dots on here. This way round. There. One on this side. And one in the middle. There we go. Just make sure that one rolled up a little bit. So we can put this just off there and hold it in place. There we go, that looks pretty. And now I've got some of these. These are traditional sparkling sequins. I thought the red ones would look nice on here. So we can use a couple of these. I think they're all the same size, these are. Oh no, we've got big ones down here. Small and medium. We'll have one of each. So we'll use, whoops, one of these. Yeah. A medium size Plain one over here and a small one here. There we go. I like to use 3s because it's sort of helps to draw your eye into the centre, apparently. That's what I was told by somebody. Anyway, and it's more pleasing to the eye if you use 3s or an odd number at any rate. So there we go. There's our 3 cards. So that's 1, 2 and 3. So we've got a 4th one, but here we go. So that's all just using the one stamp. Again, you can put whatever sentiments you've got inside. I will put sentiments inside because I won't send them as they are, and I will send them to people. If you've got a ribbon that's doing that, you can put another bit of glue dot underneath to keep the ribbon down as well, and that'll hold it in place. Might do that afterwards. So there we go. Which ones do you like best? Do you like the red one, the blue one, or the gold one? I think they all look really nice. I love this script. I do. Right, thank you very much for joining me. Just over the hour, and 3 nice cards. They're all the same size, obviously, but hopefully if you wanted to, you could, so you can use anything really to go with it. You could use any colours. If you're using clear embossing powder, you can then colour any colour ink that you want. If you've got Versamark, you put the Versamark on first, then add the ink, and then put the clear embossing powder over the top, and that's what helps it to be slightly raised and shiny. If you make a mistake, you can cover it up with a bow. The embossing folder that I used was the Peaceful Greenery 3D embossing folder. That's available, and this is the Traditions of Christmas. All the things I've used on this one are from the Peaceful Garden suite. So there we go. So you've got the ribbon, these I don't know what embellishments, and the Speciality Design series paper all come from that suite. There we go. And this also comes from that suite. This is the different one. This one comes. I don't know where these come from. I think they might be in that suite as well, but you should be able to find them if you know the names of them. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much for joining me. Next week I'll be using a different stamp set, and I'll be making some more cards. So I've got 3 down so far. Hooray! And it'll be lovely to see you again soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye bye.